Hi, my name is Erica McAlpine, and this is my new collection of poems called Small Pointed Things. I live in Oxford with my husband, 2 kids, a dog, 2 small parrots, and a tortoise. And that's a lot of animals. And there are also a lot of animals in this book. Some of the small pointed things in the collection are indeed animals. But the title of the book actually comes from the first poem, and I'll read that to you now. Small Pointed Things is a line within it, and the poem itself is called Bats and Swallows. And it's addressed to my husband. We were on a trip together, and we encountered some small pointed things, and that led to a little bit of an argument. Bats and swallows. Whatever the difference might be to one who knows, we couldn't see from where we stood in soft shadows any signs that they were swallows or bats. That there were wings was without doubt. You could see small pointed things swooping out into the gloaming, and sometimes back. One seemed almost iridescent as I tried to track its crescent flight across the hill. The lack of sound suggested bats to me. You strained to see if they nested somewhere below the terrace, having rested your case on swallows. We couldn't be sure either way, and so it follows that neither of us knows. But since it is in your nature always to side one way or the other, you hold that they were swallows. I say the question never gets old, that either or both hold sway. The cover image on the book is maybe bats or swallows or some other kind of small pointed things. And as I was putting the poems in this collection together, I realized how many small pointed things there were in my life. There's a lot of insect poems here, a lot of bird poems, and some poems about my children who are also small and pointed in various ways. What I realized also is that one of the ways that I like to write poems is to have something to say, to have a point, to teach some kind of lesson, or to make some kind of comment about something in the world. And I think my poems in particular tend to be small, and some of them are quite pointed. I'll read another one called Needlefish, about small pointed things that I encountered in Florida. This is one of the poems about my daughter. And in Miami, where I have family, you often find these small fish called needlefish in the ocean. They're long, they have a really pointed mouth, nose, and one day my daughter was wading in the water and a school of needlefish came through. Needlefish. In that instant, dear daughter, when they flashed like Cupid's arrow through the current of salt water where you splashed, more narrow and more terse than any gleam, I thought I felt within my gut love's old curse entering the dream, that through no fault of yours but beauty, fresh as it is fierce, you should become as bait to any fish whose point would pierce, as if from nowhere, while I wait. There are 4 sections in this book, and they roughly coincide with 4 themes that I think have occupied me over the course of the 8 or so years that I've taken to write the book. The first section has poems about marriage, relationships, and the complications that come with living together with someone over a long period of time. The second section is mainly poems about poetry, poems about ideas, poems that have points or pointed thoughts. The third section is mainly poems about motherhood and the various complexities that come with putting poetry and motherhood together. And the last section is partly about poetry, partly about the bigger themes of life and death, growing older, growing more mature. And I'll just finish this little clip with a poem from the last section, which also features two small pointed things in the form of blackbirds. It's another poem addressed to my husband, and partly it is about marriage, but I think it's also about poetry and the mysteries of where poems come from. Blackbirds. She is brown, I said to you, less in annoyance than wonder when she flew past us with a certain flamboyance, not over but under our gate, to settle down into the tree beside her mate. But he is black, you replied, and the name is his. As it always is, I poked. I was your bride and took your name, yet we are not the same. You'd have joked back, but couldn't deny it. We grew quiet when we heard the blackbirds sharing words between them. Whose song it was, we would never know, having not seen them sing, but it would be wrong to say, even if we could. I hope that is a helpful short introduction to the book and some of the themes within it, and I hope you like it.